morning everyone! Mayong aga in Ilonggo, mayong buntag in Bisaya, magandang araw in Tagalog, at mapya mapita sa ating mga kapatid na Muslim. I am Sir Jayvon Nagdominic Ban. And today, classmates, I will introduce to you my group mates. Not one, not two, not three, not four, but we are 5.
Ma'am Joy Marie Gulada, Ma'am Mervian Acevedo Echanova, Ma'am Eliza Las Pobres, Ma'am Ninita Gilaran.
And now, let us welcome the last member of the group. Malit man sa inyong tingin pero nakakapuwing din. Sir Once Slay. Kasi yun ang name niya sa Facebook. O, diba?
Reminders coming from DOH or Department of Health. Always wear your face mask and use always alcohol. At lumayo po sa taong may ubo at sipon. Lalo na kung mahal mo siya pero hindi ka niya mahal. Char. And our topic for today is all about nature of personality and personality in sports. Our learning objectives.
First, explain personality in the field of sport. Second, identify the different personality theories and approaches in athlete sport-related behavior. Third, relate the value of psychological tests in assessing personality in the athletic field. Fourth, develop an enthusiasm in conducting personality research in sports psychology. And discuss influence of athletes' performance on personality traits.
First, let us define the meaning of personality in sport.
A typical athlete displays a behavior based on the role and the situation. He or she engaged in a role-related behavior to match his or her perception in the environment. However, the role-related behavior represents the most superficial dimension of personality because of the changes made in both individuals' perception and the environment.
Sylvester Gusto. I'm going to continue the discussion, which is the salient personality theories in sports and approaches to personality. Okay, silent personality theories in sports. In this topic, we are going to discuss psychodynamic theory, social learning theory, and trait theory. So let's start with psychodynamic theory. Psychodynamic theory, it's according to Dr. Simon Freud, is the theories of psychodynamic theory. We're going to discuss also the id, ego, and superego. The most significant theorist of psychodynamic theory was Dr. Simon Freud. The dominant distinctive features of the psychodynamic approach to personality have a strong impact on the psychological core of the entire person, with special emphasis on unconscious motives. The major determinant of behavior evolves from the individual's unconscious and sexual and aggressive instincts. Athletic aggressions, instinct, and conflict theories represent a potential nature of violence and aggressions in sports. The physique apparatus such as id, the unconscious instinctive core of personality, and seek the pleasure of mechanism. Ego, the conscious logical reality-oriented aspect of personality, and superego, the conscience of the individual and moral standards of society marked upon the person by parental control and authority, are always in conflict, thereby providing explanation for the possible state or trait of discontentment, destruction, and aggression. Next is the social learning approach. This approach or this theory is very familiar with Albert Bandura. He is the famous social learning theorist. We're also going to discuss vicarious learning and social reinforcement. Social learning theory, resilience of the environmental influence, is strong enough to produce a behavior due to the product of learning. The formation of social learning theory is the noble contribution of the famous theorists like by Clark Hutt, Miller, and Dollard and Michel.
Good day everyone, I am Joy Marie Pigulada, and for today's video, I am tasked to discuss the test on how to assess the personality. So it is imperative to employ the basic personality theories such as the psychodynamic, the social learning theories, and also the trait constructs as the basis for theoretical framework in understanding the relevance of psychological testing in the sports psychology. And choosing therefore an appropriate test is important criterion in assessing the personality of participants like the athletes, the coach, and other sports participants. So the value of test is one that possesses the three major characteristics which is common to all of us. We have here the validity, the reliability, and the practicability. First, we have here the validity. So when we say validity, it is the extent to which a test measures what it purports to or is supposed to measure. For personality test, the validity has four types with relative questions that needs to be considered. First is the face validity. So face validity considers how suitable the content of a test seems to be on the surface. So the face validity questions should be, does the test seems to be valid for the purpose it is given on the basis of how it reads or appears, and does it seems to measure what it meant to measure. Now, in the content validity, it assesses whether a test is representative of all aspects of the construct. So, to produce a valid results, the content of a test, survey, or any means of measurement must cover all relevant parts of the subject it aims to measure. So, the question is, do the tests reflect sampling of concepts and principles from the core of personality and the typical responses of the athletes and other sports participants?
Type of validity is the concurrent validity. So it measures how well a new test compares to a well-established test. So it can also refer to the practice of concurrently testing two groups at the same time or asking two different groups of people to take the same test. So the question is, does the performance in the test correlate with the scores in related areas? And the last one is the predictive validity. So it tells you how well a certain measure can predict future behavior. So does the performance in the test correlate with the future measures in some related areas? Now,
good morning, everyone. So my topic for this morning is all about personality sports research. So what is sports research? So sports research focuses on the social contributions of sports, addressing sports as a context within which social, economic, and cultural challenges are addressed. Beyond sports, research is focused on the benefits of sports, health, and exercise sciences to individuals' health outcomes, economies, and populations. In general, many sports psychologists have conducted personality researches in sports where attempted to identify the relationship between personality and sports performance. According to Versari 2004 and Owell, Kuiper, Van Meel, and Reznicki 1993, they have concluded that there is a positive relationship between personality and some aspects of athletic performance. Any researcher is cautioned and should not conclude that a particular personality trait causes a particular event. In a recent study, Versari 2004 examined the relationship between personality types, sports preferences, and team and individual athletes' personality profiles to over 500 athletes. The Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, or the MBTI, was used to identify 8 different personality preferences that are ranged by 4 functions and 4 attitudes. So the 4 functions is divided into 2 groups. We have the 2 kinds of perception, the sensing and the intuition, and the 2 kinds of judgment, the thinking and feeling. And the four attitudes, we have the extroversion, the attitudes that is kind of person that are very talkative, sociable, friendly, while the introversion is the opposite. So that kind of personality, he wanted to become alone or just a few people around him or her. So the judgment attitude is the people who are very quick in giving judgment, and the perception is giving impressions to situations.
Discuss about the credulous skeptical argument and perspective. Let us discuss first the definition of terms, which is credulous, are disposed to believe in a little evidence, and skeptical, having or expressing doubt about something. Many sports psychologists have two contrary views in terms of methodology, analysis, and interpretation of personality research problems in sports. There are two opposing groups, which are Ogilvy and Turco, that they belong to credulous side. According to them, they believe the values of personality through the use of personality tests that can predict athletic success. And for the skeptical side, which are Ruschel, Krull, and Martins, they said that personality is not related to athletic success. Comparative analysis between personality and sports performance. Athletes and non-athletes differ with respect to personality characteristics. Various researchers have reported that athletes are more independent, objective, self-confident, competitive, outgoing, or extrovert, and less anxious than non-athletes. Differences in personality traits between athletes and non-athletes are due to natural selection process. This process occurs successfully in the mature individual. However, it has been shown that sports participation has a positive effects on the personality development of the young athletes. Athletes in one sports can be differentiated from athletes in other sports based on their personality characteristics. The individual sports athletes are less extrovert, more independent, and less anxious team sports than participants. World-class athletes can be correctly differentiated from less skilled athletes by their psychological profile.
Again, good morning everyone. I am Murphy Ann A. Hechanova. I am going to discuss to you today personality leadership in sport. Sport participants such as athletes, coaches, and sport professionals much possess the personality required in sports like leadership traits to enhance their effectiveness in athletic performance and adjustment. Campbell identified 14 traits as tools of the trade because effective leaders have these tools well developed and apply them when needed. Now we are going to discuss first the personality. Effective people reflect warmth and concern in their interactions with others. They have an outgoing style and enjoy meeting others. Second, persuasive. Communication skills are critical. The ability to speak effectively in public, listen carefully, and write with clarity are important. Leaders. Next, persistence. Most social changes, whether large or small, occur slowly. Patience. Change takes time. Changing people's exercise habits requires patience and ongoing support over a significant period of time. The adage, Rome wasn't built in a day, reminds people that many things, especially if they are worthwhile, do not happen quickly. Next is perceptive. Sensitivity to the wants, needs, moods, and concerns of individuals and the group is critical.